there are a couple of things, and I say this as a man approaching half a century in life. There are a couple of things which make me feel like an excitable 10-year-old boy again. One of them is the red arrows. I don't know what it is. Whenever the red arrows come over, it's always amazing. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I feel like a 10-year-old excitable kid again. And there's one other thing that gives me that Christmas Eve childlike feeling, and it's when I know I'm about to get a new pinball machine. So today, Stern, after hinting and doing a little teaser, revealed probably the most publicly known secret in pinball, which was that their next title was going to be Godzilla, and it's been designed by Keith Elwin, who of course is building quite a reputation for making absolutely excellent machines. We knew it was going to be Godzilla, but when the teaser came out, it was really our first opportunity to see what the cabinet design was going to be like, to see what the shots were going to be like, and just to get a glimpse and let us all know if this was really what we wanted. Now, I know a lot of people, having spoken to you, listen to this podcast. You may want to, if you can, switch this to the picture format on YouTube, because I will try and, in the edit, incorporate some pictures if you haven't seen them already, because we are talking about Stern's latest release, which, as I say, is Godzilla, with the artwork by Zombie Yeti. Now, I went onto the forum, very, very excited, and I was delighted to see other excited people on there. And one of which is joining me today. You probably have some of his modifications in your pinball machines. If you don't, you probably should have. On the forum on pinballinfo.com, we know him as Colywobbles. And all I can say is, if there is anybody slightly more excited than me about the new about the new Godzilla, then it's this man right here. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Yourself?
Excited.
Very, very. I kind of got the idea it was going to be good. I mean, you probably see me Guns N' Roses behind us. Whether people love her or hate them, I listen to a lot of Canada. And there's something special happening the way he's gone on this past couple of months. And I got that same feeling when I got my Guns N' Roses, and I have been really looking forward to this. I'm at an age where I kind of remember them rubber men in suits bouncing around back in the day. And
sure.
It's the theme for me is everything, Chris. I've said this before. For me, it's theme. You know, people turn around and say it doesn't matter about theme. It really does for me. And I think that's where my last pin, Jurassic Park, came and went. Everyone says an Elwin pin's the best, you know. So basically Jurassic Park. I've had Iron Maiden as well. They pretty much came and went. I think more of the theme being a problem.
So what have you got now, Cole? There, obviously, I can't see.
So I've got. I don't know if we can pan round there a little bit. Have a look. So we've got Deadpool.
Wonderful.
You have Deadpool. You can probably see. I like my LEs. You know, it becomes a general trend. So I have Rick and Morty there. Again, that's a Bloodsuckers. Guns N' Roses, that's a collector's edition. If I just move my head. A bit further down, I've got Chris B's at the moment, very kindly loaned me Avengers Premium. And all intensive purposes, it's an LE. It's like fabulous. And just across from that, well, before I go across, we have The Simpsons. Again from Chris Bree. He'll probably crop up a lot during this podcast. I get a lot of stuff from Chris. You know what you're getting. You're getting a top pin. That actually belonged to Ant McFarlane or Parlin, you know, the Ant and Deck duo. It's probably had, honestly, Chris, it's probably had 50 players. A friend came over and played that back to back with Jurassic Park. He had a couple of games of Jurassic Park, and I said, if you wanted to take a pin away, which one would it be? And it was that Simpsons. It's like brand new in the box. Plus, imagine when you let Chris loose, it's full of mods. Beautifully powder coated. You know what he does with his powder coats?
Yeah, he gets
every conceivable.
Doesn't he?
Yeah, and right down to there's a mod in there. It's a little TV with Rick and Itchy and Scratchy playing, and it's got 2.5 hours of Itchy and Scratchy. So you never see the same Itchy and Scratchy if it's on for a while. So going across, that's me in Glass because I'm currently working on Guns N' Roses. Me Hobbit, which is full of mods for Avengers that Chris gave me. I'll fit them while I'm on. And look at this beauty. This is my Turtles LE. I think the best artwork and powder coat yet from Stern. That's my personal opinion anyhow.
May I suggest, because we're going to be getting on to Godzilla, and you're excited, you're in on an LE. Let's get that out of the way now. May I suggest there's no room for any more in there? What's going to happen? Is the Infinity Quest going back to Chris?
Yeah. I've got that for 3 months, so I'm thinking that's about the time that Godzilla came. I actually played that down Pinfest. I met you down Pinfest. We didn't have a chance to chat actually. Every time. Have a guess how many pins I played down Pinfest?
1. You weren't there for long, were you?
I was there for 1 day, but I was there the full day. Okay. I managed around about, well, I can probably count on that hand. I probably managed, and most of the time that was Avengers. I'm a funny, and I play a pin once. I love it or hate it. I don't know why. And people say, stick at it. I've tried sticking at things like the Shadow. Doesn't matter how much I stick at a game, if I don't get it, if it doesn't hit me in first go, it just doesn't stay. That hence Jurassic Park. Iron Maiden stayed around about a year, I think. I quite like the art on that again. The artist.
Well, I like a long shot, Cole, and you talk about Shadow there. The Shadow's got that ramp really close to the flippers. I don't like things too close to the flippers, which is quite funny because obviously I do like Deadpool, but it seems a bit far away, and you can avoid the little Deadpool thing quite easily if you want to. I don't like things cramped up. I like a long shot. So obviously we see the reveal today, and I'll try and put some footage in of this Godzilla, and I thought, wow, this is it. This is me all over.
It's another level, isn't it? It's just another level altogether for Stern, I think.
Well, when I saw you post on there, and then I saw Davey post on there, and Davey said something like, "Oh, I've called Phil," and I said, "Everyone's called Phil." And the funny thing was, so I spoke to Chris. I don't know if Chris has got any pins at home at the moment because I've got his Star Wars. You've got that. I know someone else has got a Game of Thrones. So I spoke to Chris probably about a month ago, and I said, "Tell Phil I definitely want a Godzilla, please." I spoke to Phil about 2 weeks ago, and I said to Phil on the phone, I said, "I'd definitely like a Godzilla, please." Even though I had said that, I think I'd even told Phil's Goldfish. And when we're talking about Phil here, we're talking about Phil from Pinball Heaven.
Yeah.
I said, I'd even told his Goldfish, make sure you tell the boss that I need a Godzilla. Even I had to today text him just to say, Phil, just to reiterate, I definitely want a Godzilla. And I just had this vision in my head of Phil being sort of chilling out on his sofa, and then his phone just probably went crazy. He's probably like, oh, what's that? What on earth has happened? Everyone saying, God, get me a Godzilla. Get me a Godzilla. What did you first think when you saw that reveal, the gameplay, the panning around the cabinet? What did you think?
Well, just to go back a little bit, it was a similar thing with Guns N' Roses for me. I said to Phil before the reveal, I want it. And he went, don't worry about it. There'll be loads of LEs. You'll get one, no problem. Yeah. Wait until you see it, Colin. Wait till you see it. And Chris, who I speak to regular, Chris B, he turned around and said this very same thing. Look, there'll be loads of them made. I'll get you one in about a year's time. And the more and more, again, back to Canada, the more and more he was going on about this thing, I said, I'm not missing out on this. So I contacted Phil and I said, put me down, put me on the list. I think I was number one on the list. And Godzilla today, when I saw it, I thought, I've got to hang on. I really like Avengers. And the thing that lets Avengers down in LE flavour is, I hate the fact it's got the same art as a premium. If you look at another thing that gets me with my Deadpool is it's got the same art both sides. So it's the little things for me. It's always the little things. So I wanted to see Godzilla with Guns N' Roses. It was a no-brainer. I wanted the collector's edition regardless. But when it came down to Godzilla, I thought, it's got to be as good as Avengers. I've been offered an Avengers LE with 50 players. And when I was watching Canada, I got the reveal on Canada. He actually broadcast it. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my God. Different level altogether. I mean, literally, like a few have said, straight up changed my underpants. I had that moment where it was like, this hasn't got to be missed. I know they're doing 1,000 LEs. They'll sell out. In fact, I've been on and it said sold out. It's got sold out already.
It has on the website, yeah.
As I always do, set the fill. How much are they? I wanted to know how much they are. I know there's been a bit of a hike. He says, I haven't got the price yet. It's coming through. I says, put me down. And he says, Pro Premium LE. LE, of course. It had to be, regardless. And just to make sure, my bank would only let us, I've got to whisper this because my wife's just next door. My bank would only let us get 10 grand out. So that was sent straight over to Phil. So it's basically, it's a done deal.
Well, as I understand it, I think the Pro is 7. I'm slightly out. I can't remember the exact pounds, but it's about 7 grand. I believe the premium is about 10, and possibly the LE. Cole, you could help me out here, about 12. Is that right?
Yeah, the retail price is 12.
Yeah.
Which it's a lot, and you know what it is. Every year I say, as everyone does, when these things get to 6 grand, or when these things get to 5 grand, that's me, I'm out. When these things get to 6 grand, that's me, I'm out. Well, I got around about 10. I says, no way. Well, that was thrown out with Guns N' Roses straight away. It had to be.
Which machine's that?
If you've never seen it, it's worth putting on.
I'm not 100% sure what we have here in stock. I can't see anything. Our prices, I hope.
It just does that automatically.
It just does it, and it's like a crazy. I don't even know if I can turn it off.
$100. That's fair. I imagine my. What about the reality where people are pure cancer, Morty?
It doesn't matter. So the LEs, you've got this love for LEs. From what I can see on this particular model, as I say, I'll try and get some footage in. The LE and the Premium has two major differences from the Pro. It has a collapsible bridge, which is one of the wire forms. I think it might be the wire form that goes from the right ramp. I think loops back inside, loops round, it goes over a bridge. That bridge collapses. There's also just before it some sort of tower system, 3-tiered tower system, which may well divert the ball to different ramps. Then there's a sort of mechanical mechanical Godzilla. I know nothing about the theme at all, as you can tell, Cole, on the right hand side, which has almost like a rotating spinner on it. Yeah. With a magnet on it as well. So it looks like it's almost incorporated the spinner aspects that rises out from Led Zeppelin. It doesn't rise out, it rotates. And then a bank of 3 targets. So I think those are, as well as, a bit of powder coating and the art blades and whatnot, those appear to be the main differences from the Pro. But you were straight away, you're not bothered about the Premium. I think you have to wait for the Premium anyway, don't you?
Well, that wasn't the point. I probably could have gotten a Pro and then upgraded to an LE. But to me, personally, I think the Pro is a little bit too gimped. There's a lot of games that aren't gimped. I mean, I'll tell anybody, Guardians of the Galaxy, it's probably better in Pro flavor. I have the LE Turtles. It's probably better in Pro flavor. There's some things on the Turtles that are a pain in the arse. I'm not fast enough to have reactions to hit that button to swap the glider. I just can't do it. It has an extra ramp and a few other things. But honestly, I sold my Turtle. Actually, Chris took it in Part X for his Turtles LA. Another pin from Chris. Again, with Deadpool, you're not losing much on there. But for me, there's a lot on there you're going to lose. It had to be a Premium. And my thoughts between Premium and LE are quite simple for me. I know you can powder coat it, and I know you can put the speaker lights in, and there's certain little aspects you can do, but what you can't get is the art. Hence, Avengers having the same art as a Premium. I thought to myself, who's going to buy an LE over Premium? So Chris's is something else. But for me, you've got separate art on each side and exclusive to the LE. And if you could see this Turtles in person, both sides, I've got it in the wrong place at the moment, it'll get moved across eventually. And the one thing that you can't buy that mirror glass. When your machines are switched off, that is just another gravy altogether. Doesn't bother me the signature, doesn't bother me the plaque with the limited edition. It's just the little things. It's a bit like when people buy a Pro and they kind of spend I know, and actually I bought my Turtles, and I think, no, my Jurassic Park, I think we worked it out, and it was £1,400 spent on my Jurassic Park with the topper and all the extras, and it looked fabulous. It had been powder coated, and I'm not even taking that in consideration. But it's never ever for me going to be an LE, and you know, it's the little, like I say, it's the little things.
Yeah, well, I'm in on a Pro, and I do have a choice. I mean, I can't justify it.
Yeah, I get that.
10 jump. I just can't. But I'm not silly. I would prefer the premium if I could afford it, but I can't. And I must say, by the way, I did make a little flippant comment on the forum. Said all these Keith Elwin games are getting so good, I might have to consider selling Elvira. I've had 3 messages already. I'm not selling Elvira.
I knew, you know what it is? I knew that would happen when I seen that myself, because I've done that myself. Yeah. I think this has to go, and pretty much your inbox is full.
It is. It's not for sale, and I will get this. As I'll play it for a little while, but I know I'm gonna. It's funny, isn't it? People say you can't tell until you play, and I do understand that, but I know I'm going to like it because I do like every game he's done. I've liked, with the exception of Iron Maiden, only for 2 reasons. Number one, I don't have to love the theme. I just have to not dislike it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and I do dislike Iron Maiden. The great irony is I've actually sat and watched a football match with them without knowing it. So I'm glad I didn't. When I sat next to,
I read that one. Yeah,
I'm glad I didn't say I don't like Iron Maiden. And also I think the shot through the pops, I don't particularly like that. I'm not skillful enough for it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Aside from that, Jurassic Park, loved it. Avengers Infinity Quest just gets better and better and better. And the one that Chris, you're right, Chris will come up a lot in this podcast. The one that Chris recently sold, the Pro, actually lived here for 3 months as well. Just a fantastic game. So I feel with confidence when I see this game from Elwin and I see those metal ramps and those beautiful wire forms that I'm going to like it. And then there's the thing that I really wanted to check between the Pro and the rest. I know, look, I'm paying significantly less. I know I'm going to get these fancy mechanisms. That's fine. What I didn't want to lose was a shot, and this shot in particular. And as soon as I saw it, it was the left shot that I think it almost looks like it's going up into a left orbit or something like that. And it seems to loop up really quickly and then onto the wire form. I thought, wow, that looks amazing. That seems to be on there. But what was really interesting was looking at the plan of it, because I'm sure you've done this as well. You start studying all the pictures. So you've got the katana ramp shot in Deadpool. It goes up to the right of Little Deadpool, and then it sort of swings round to the right, goes up, and then locks in the hilt of the sword. It looks to me, if you hit the shot off the right flipper to the left of that playfield, it's going to loop right back up and sort of almost go to the right-hand ramp. Have you noticed that?
You know what it is? I've been so busy today, it's been unreal. So that came out, and it's me again. I've got this impulsive nature. If I see something I like, I've got to have it. So that was me, straight on board, done it. I've been on my laser most of the day, and then I got called into work tonight. I've had my tea. This is the first 5-minute break. So tonight I'm going to go across everything. I've done the deed. It's basically, it's done, you know. Yeah. So the LE's coming, hopefully before Christmas. Who knows? I don't know about time, but I've got Avengers. But going back on that and what you lose and what you're gaining, after having Avengers, I really like that table. I would probably go for a Pro. Neil said, you missed the Captain Marvel ramp. You know, that's a big one. For me, the Subway is a total waste of time, but I like the raisin spinner. There's a little thing, there's little things you lose, isn't it? But I think with Godzilla, I just going all in with Ellie, I'm getting everything. And I think it's going to be everything and more. All the hype that's been going is I think there was what Chris said on, I'm talking about Canada, he is. Something he said. He spoke to Elwin, he says, if you think the Avengers is good, you ain't seen nothing yet. I think he's got a blank check, and he's used that blank check on this pin.
Let's talk about the artwork, because I went on, obviously, our forum on Pinball Info, and then I went on Pinside. A lot of criticism about the artwork, and I didn't see it. I've got to be honest. I looked at it, I thought, oh, I liked it. Funny enough, you talk about the pro net. This is the first time I've looked. See, actually, Deadpool's not there, is it? It's Tombstone at the moment. I really like the Deadpool artwork on the pro. It's really red. I like all that red on it. When I first saw this artwork, and don't get me wrong, I like all Zombie Yeti's artwork. This is the first time I've actually looked at a pro and thought actually that the artwork's not as good as the other ones on there, because it's just not colourful enough when it gets to the armour. Well, that's fine, because I'll change the armour and that'll be colourful anyway. But it was only compared to the others. I thought the other two looked better. But it's coming for a bit of stick. Did you not know that, Cole?
I haven't been on Pinside. The one thing that kind of hit me was the armour itself, the colour of the armour. But I think a lot of these LEs, you see pictures of them until you see them in the flesh. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It will change your mind straight away. I've got the LE on Deadpool. Yes, it has the same art mirrored either side, which is a pain in the arse, but it's beautiful. For me, it's beautiful for everything and more. Same as Turtles. I know for a fact they chose that art for the LE for a reason. It's individual on either side. So until I see that in person, and another thing about criticisms, everybody wants to jump on there. And no, they're probably not even buying it. They're probably not even interested, but they want to have a little dig. They want to have a dig. Oh, I don't like this certain thing. Doesn't matter how good that pin's going to be. You're going to get someone who will never own it, even a pro, and they just want to go on there and dig it. More so on Pinside. Look, we know Neil hammers the hell out of JJP. I don't care. I love JJP pins. And when Guns N' Roses came up and everybody was saying the art's better on the premium page, well, I hold my hand out to anyone. Come here and see the radicals on my Guns N' Roses and the artwork. Yes, all them posters is good, fabulous in fact, but nothing prepares you for one of these in the flesh. Really doesn't. So well, I'll reserve my judgment until I see it, not what someone's telling it what they think.
Well, I'm going to see and play a Guns N' Roses Saturday. Yeah, this coming Saturday for the first time. So I'm really looking forward to it. And the person who's got it is going mad about it. He's got a number of pins, and he's saying to me, "You wait till you play this. You wait." He's absolutely going mad about it. We'll get on to Guns N' Roses in just a second. What I would say about the armor on the Mandalorian, which I did think when I first saw it, I thought that is an ugly orange machine, right? I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I saw it in the flesh at Neil's at the weekend. Went to Neil's, fantastic show. In fact, Neil's coming on tomorrow. Obviously, this will be a day. It'll take me a day to edit this and get this out. So Neil's podcast will probably be up Thursday. I'm going to speak to Neil about his really excellent tournament then. But I got to see his Mandalorian LE in the flesh, and you're right, it looks nothing on pictures. In real life, it's stunning, and I mean absolutely stunning. The armor is sensational. The mirrored glass that you mentioned, it's a cracking machine. And funny enough, I did look at that, and I thought actually it is worth, when you look at the pro to the LE or whatever it might be. Now I haven't seen the premium, so I couldn't possibly say, but actually you would want to get the armor done on that. Yeah.
It is. When I went down to Chris's, because Chris always says a new pin's in, so Mando is in. If you want to, it's coming on Monday. If you want to pop down, I generally make the effort, and it's a 2-hour round trip for me.
Muscular amenities. Sorry, your opinion means very little.
Actually, really funny. They're going for 5 or 10 minutes, them Mandos. And I went down to see the Mando Pro, and I was so impressed with the whole Pro package. I hated the ramps. Straight away, I hated the ramps. I didn't like the mini playfield because I couldn't see it. I'm short in the arse. I'm trying to peel over the top of it. So when I saw the premium, it was a different game altogether for me. And yeah, you've got to see them in the flesh. You have, regardless. I take nobody's comments and criticisms on anything. Unless you've seen, if you ever come up to mine, Chris, is by the way, up to mine, which you're welcome to do anytime. Next time, this is all. Pop up with Spence and I'll put you up for the night.
Really?
Yeah. So he's an olive branch for you, right? So you come up, you'll play several pins here. Now there's a lad called Billy across the road. He's on the forums. He's an old guy. He's in his 70s. I've got so many stories. I'll be on all night. But to try to cut this one down, he saw me lifting a pin in 30 years ago and came across and says, "I've got some of them." And he lives across the road. And I went across the road and he had 5 pinballs in his garage. And I was saying, "I've got a Twilight Zone just like you." He had all the pins I had back in the day. I've had hundreds and I had all the bally stuff several times over. And I went, "Isn't it a small world?" So I've generally sold him I'll give him first offer of my pins. So I'll say, "I'm selling me Wizard of Oz. I'm putting it on Pinford. You want it?" And he buys it. He gets it at a fair price. And I've just sold him a High Speed 2, a beautiful one, all my plastics on, 2,300 quid. Good price, I've seen people asking $3,000 and whatever for them. I've just sold them this, but I can go across the road and play that anytime I want. So if you come here, I've got 7 here. Billy's got 8 pins. Another friend's got 2 pins. So you're coming up to see like 15 pins, taking Nerg at the same time. And
sorry, so Nerg is
Northeast Retro Gaming.
There you go. Okay.
It's Big Phil runs it. Big Phil, Pinfest?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's another one of these dues. It's not happening. It's not happening this year. It's happening next year. But it takes in arcade games as well. So it's a big venue. Gateshead, 5 minutes from me. So in 2019, I put a little post on Pinforce saying, "Anybody going to Nerg? I've got a spare bedroom. Put yous up, play pins, see Billy's," and no one took me up on that. So, there you are. And the best part about playing in here, we can have one of those at the same time.
Lovely. Yes, mate. We'll. I've got a feeling the lineup won't be the same by then, Cole, to be honest with you.
And just to go back one thing on art, last thing, we finished there. Billy bought, everybody will be going like, "What?" He bought from Chris B again. He bought a Munsters LE. And if no one's seen a Munsters LE, there's a reason that won the art at the Twippies.
It's the black and white one, right?
That was the premium. The LE's colour, but it has the sort of like the coffin art. Franchi done it, and he won the Twippy that year for the Munsters artwork. And that is a stunning looking pin, and Billy loves it. It's like the guy who come. I saw someone on Pin4 and they said, "Looking for a pin, not sure what to buy. Anybody give me ideas?" And I sent him a pin and says, "You live near me, come see me." And he came the other day, and then I ran that little competition. Which pin do you think he liked the best of the lot? It was the Munsters. See, these easy gameplay. It's like me. You put me on a pin, and if it's just a little bit too hard for me, I can enjoy it. But when it's just a little bit easier, like the Turtles, like Deadpool, you know what to hit. Yes. You can dial in quickly, and awesome pin. I'm not saying it's bought at the floor. I used to say there was a keeper. No such thing as keepers anymore. Life's too short.
I know. Yeah, I know. I'm not quite there. I'm not quite there yet because it would be. I don't think I could let Elvira or Deadpool go, which is why I've got to bring one in there. It's quite funny what you say though about liking a pin, but particularly about something being too hard. Stranger Things for me. I can tell it's great. I know that when I hit those ramp shots, they loop round lovely. I think the theme is great. I love the TV show. I love the ramp, the Demigorgon, the sounds. The UV kit is sensational, so atmospheric. Everything is set up for me to love that pin. Everything. But it's just a bit too difficult for me. It's just a bit above my playing standard. And because of that, it just punishes me. And it's just because I can't be always accurate with the shots. When you're not accurate with the shots on that, it pops down. You've got some targets either side of the ramps. It jumps off them. It side drains, or goes onto slingshots. Bang, 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 really quickly down the side drain. And it's just, I would love to love it, but I just ain't good enough. And for that reason, it can't live here, basically, mate. Have you've played that?
I have, I have. I went down to Chris's and I didn't actually play it at the time. COVID was in strong. I was picking a pin up. I went down, his wife was working from home, and I would have had a game. And I looked at it and I thought, that is some beautiful, it's never been on my radar. And I looked at it and I went, that is some gorgeous, beautiful pin. And plus, when Chris puts his touches to them, they're not a normal LE. They're like a super LE, aren't they? I didn't actually play it, so it's a one I've been looking forward to. There wasn't one at Pinfest, unfortunately, or if there was, I walked right past it. I don't know.
There wasn't, actually. I had Chris's LE here. The purple powder coat.
Yeah. Oh, phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful. I wanted to love it. I wanted to be good at it, but I struggled. But funny enough, we've got the Star Wars at the moment, which is hard. Again, it's very, very hard, but I'm starting to dial the shots in now. And this is the difference between having a pinball machine at home and being able to play it for an hour in a club or something like that. It's probably taken me 30 games and a number of hours now playing Star Wars to think, okay, now I'm dialed in on it. Now I still don't know what I'm doing because the rules are complicated, but I'm actually starting to almost get that muscle memory.
Are you enjoying the game as opposed to like? Yeah. I had that pin, and I only had it a matter of a couple of months, and I moved it on. I'd done a few of my bits and bobs, made a top, I put plastics on, Millennium and stuff, and I moved that on. I couldn't get away with it. I thought, how can you not get a Star Wars theme wrong? And I bought it, and I got it, and the day it came in, and the first game I had, I was like, what have I done here? This is me with an instant dislike.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I got a bit stick on the forum. It wasn't so much stick. It was just, I've got a Jurassic Park, and everyone's like, how can you not like Jurassic Park? Well, for number one, I enjoyed the movie. No big deal. It wasn't one of my favourite movies. It was okay. So theme's okay. Everybody says the best game to die for. I played it at Brooklyn, and I think I had 2 games on it. All I did was I got spat out into the premium T-Rex mouth several times. I was rattling. I couldn't sort the Jeep out. I was so perplexed, and I thought, what the hell am I doing here? And for that reason, I'm out. So I just walked away from that, and I played something else. And I thought, I've got to get it. I get pressured into getting. I'll get pressured into. Everybody says Big's a game up. You've got to have this. This is the most game of the year. Stern, it's up there in the top 2 or 3. Yep. It's the GOAT game, best game ever made or whatever. And I got it in Jurassic Park, 2 games. What have I done? And then Hugger's come on. He says, Col, have you actually played it? And I went, well, it doesn't matter how much I'm going to play this game. It can't make us like it because I don't like the theme. I don't like the art. I don't like how drab it looks, even though it had a lot of stuff on it. I thought, right, I'm going to give me stew. I'm going to spend the night on it. And I dialed in the shots, and I wasn't rattling as much. And then I started to understand what I was getting at. So the game was enjoyable if you could just skin it with some nice art, and you could just change the theme, and it would be great. And then Godzilla comes out, and it's like, it's like God rays next to it, I mean, chalk and cheese art-wise. It's just, I mean, how can Zombie yet get anything wrong whatsoever?
I'll tell you something. I will honestly. I would powder coat me mum if I could get away with it. I will literally powder coat anything. Right? Yeah. Honestly, I was gonna say if it moves, I'll powder coat it. If it's stationary, I will powder coat it. That Elvira's got every single mod that you can get on it, or so I thought. Then I saw another one on Pinside. Oh right, I've got to get that as well. It's full of your stuff, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. Anyway, so.
Just the amount of how much have you spent on that then? So, it's a pro. Is it now a premium cost?
No, they never did a pro on Elvira, so it was just it's a premium.
Oh, sorry, it's a premium. Is it an LE cost? You've spent that much on it, or?
The trouble is it's increased in value massively because you can't get them anyway. So I'm quids in. I've turned down almost 12 grand for that. And,
wow.
and he was going to keep going. I know he was going to. I know.
Yeah. He is.
I know you were, and I know you'll be watching this. He was going to keep going. I said, no, I don't, which is absolutely silly. And hopefully, there never comes a time where I'm being kicked out onto the street or whatever. I have to sell it,
and then it's got to
because
go,
I don't want to. But you'll see it. The powder coated. It's airbrush. It's not even powder coated. It's all airbrushed, and got all these. I'll do.
Oh, is that the German guy who done Turtles and
Absolutely.
Ghostbusters?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yes, he's Marco's based over in Germany. So anyway, so I will do that for whatever I get, and I've been on the phone to Marco today saying, what are we going to do with Godzilla, just discussing what we can do, how we can get Godzilla incorporated in there. So we did Deadpool, and we worked on some additional designs for Deadpool as well. And I don't do them. I just chuck some extra ideas at him, and then he's run with all the flair and the talent. And the one thing I never had any desire to do was Jurassic Park. I don't want to get the armor done on this, because what am I going to do? Some trees, some leaves. I don't know, and the armor's not big enough to actually do a dinosaur on it. So I thought, if it's just going to be plain green, I probably won't bother on that. But it is a really, really good game, Cole. Let's just talk, actually, before we talk about what you do and about what you make, because they are fantastic. Just tell me quickly about Guns N' Roses, because it's sort of staring at us there behind you. Tell us about the game.
Well, you know how I came to get Guns N' Roses. I've never been a great fan. I had Iron Maiden. I didn't buy Iron Maiden because I like the band. I bought Iron Maiden because it was an Elwin pin. Everybody says you've got to have it. And then I basically experienced pretty much what you did with the pops and the shots and the annoyance. And luckily, getting so far in the game through luck more than skill, which you can do with any pin. Play it enough, you're gonna see some of the mini wizard modes, aren't you? So it was pretty much looking at bands. The only one on my radar was Metallica. And at the time, I don't have it, but I passed it on to another pinball member, Pablo UK. Paul is a friend of mine, lives local. He's got a couple of pins. He's got a Deadpool LE, which we sourced through. We sourced through, again, Chris B. I have a word with Chris. Chris, I'm looking for something. I think everybody does that, but, I get quite a few pins from Chris, and he's looked after me over the years. I've known Chris like 30 years or something. I don't know. Long time. And where was I going with this?
The Guns N' Roses.
All right. So, I'm lost. Where was I?
You were saying about sourcing the Guns N' Roses.
All right. Which, by the way, you mentioned I got offered 16.5 grand before it came. You got offered 12 grand for Elvira. I got offered 16.5, and he was still going. And the same guy was trying to source one from America for 20 grand. So the whole world's gone pin crazy, hasn't it?
Well, I sorry, just to interrupt you there. I was at a point, I was thinking, look, I don't want to do this, but you have to stop now, because you're going to get to the point where I can buy 2 new pinball machines for what you're going to get towards if you don't stop. So I needed him to stop. Yeah. At that point, it becomes very tempting, of course. Do you know what I mean? But sorry, sourcing Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, so when it came, I turned that down, by the way, and I had a few people as well, but he was the main one who I know personally. I sold him Adam's Gold, and he has a bottomless pit of money, probably the same guy who's after Elvira. So a lot of guys in this hobby have a bottomless pit of money, don't they? I don't. It was for my 60th birthday, so my wife gave me half money. She gave us 6 grand. And I put the rest, and I got it from Phil, put my name down. It came, and I've literally, my first pin I bought in 91. I've been playing pins since the 80s. But my first pinball I owned at home was in 91. It was a funhouse. Long story. We haven't got time for.
We'll do that again. We can't come on again.
I so many stories of back in the day. It's unreal. But so when it came, I'd seen the videos, and everybody went on about the light show and how awesome it looked. And you've seen videos of it, and it did look good, And when it came and I unboxed it and I switched it on, I swear, Chris, I have never, ever seen anything in my life And Chris will back me up on this because Chris B's not a JJP person, but he was setting up, it was either a collector's edition or LE for someone. And he had Mando just came in and he was setting up a collector's edition. He had 4 guys come across to play Mando. And Guns N' Roses was on. They didn't play Mando. They stayed all night and played Guns N' Roses. That speaks volumes. Chris turned round and said he would have one in a heartbeat if one came along. Is any going to come along second hand? I don't think this year. You know, maybe when the next batch come through, maybe. I know Neil passed these on quickly, but I digress with Neil. I think, you know, he's wrong in a lot of things he says about the game, but each to their own, each to their own. I switched that on, Chris, and I was like, wow. Now here comes the embarrassing bit. I haven't played it.
Hey?
I haven't played it. So a friend came across to see it, and I switched it on. It's got the balls in. And he straight away, he hit the start button, and the ball jumped into the shooter lane. And I screamed, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he goes, we're going to have a game. I went, no, you're not, though. I says, I've got my cliffies to fit. I've got my posts to change. Everything's got to be right. I've got my plastics to put on. And you know what it is? I can wait. So what you're seeing at the moment is a glorified jukebox. You basically press one button. Do you want me to press the button to show you? A jukebox? So that's the jukebox. So I literally put it in while I'm in the pinball room or working on my pins. And when I turn it off, so it has a jukebox mode. I've got an adult mode, so I think there's 24 songs. I switch it on, you can skip a track, and it's just the most beautiful. You know, forget about your bubble jukeboxes. This thing is just takes it to another level. You know,
so when do you think you're going to get it done to play it?
Well, you probably can see the glass is out, and I have all the posts ready over on my Hobbit there, and I've got the mods ready for Avengers. I'm too busy at the moment. I'm doing so much at the moment. I just cannot seem to get on top of my work. I've got jobs to do on 3 pins at the moment. They're all playable. But I've got the mods to put on Avengers. I don't want to put them on because I play it every day. I've got a job to do on me Turtles. I play that every day. And the big one is my Guns N' Roses. So I don't know. I'd love to say I will be starting it next week. I've started it. I just kind of get round to getting onto it because I'm kind of getting a lot of orders on the mods at the moment. So
well, let's talk about the mods. So I'm not going to work on the assumption that everybody knows what you do. So I've got loads of your stuff in there. What do you do? What do you do? What are your mods?
I'll tell you how I start the mod quickly. Was I bought mods myself. I love mods. Back in the day, when I bought me £360 Twilight Zone, which I spent more money on than I'd ever spent on any pinball back in the day, it was a really nice one. All of a sudden, I noticed people doing mods for them. I was saying mods. And you could buy, you know, so much for that machine. Coloured housing for the clock. And it started off with a coloured housing. Then you got the backdrop. I mean, they do some awesome stuff for Twilight Zone now. And I got the robot. And then it just added to it. And that kind of got me, it wasn't that long ago. And I ordered, I'll not mention the company I ordered from, but I was going out to Boston. My wife was doing a Boston Marathon. And she come fourth, by the way. She's quite good runner.
Very good.
And
wow.
She's a bit.
Wow.
Yeah, but she's it's in that like age group. She's 50, so it's like, but there was so many thousand over 50, if you know what I mean. But anyhow, we digressing. Back in the pinball. So I went out to Boston, and I got the company to send them to my hotel. So I'm at the hotel, and this package arrived for us, and they give us a shout. And I went down, I opened it up, and I looked at the mods, and generally, most of them were either done on a 3D printer, or they were like cut out of acrylics, like fluorescent acrylics. And I took them home, and I looked at them, and again, I'm not mentioning the company, but I looked at the acrylics, and I thought, God, have they cut round this with a hacksaw? You know, it looked really poor. So I started to do a little research, and I ended up buying a 3D printer. And I got the 3D printer, and then I started printing some bits and bobs to learn how to use it. And it's like watching paint dry. It literally is. Put it on, come back in 4 hours time, and you've made like a thing the size of a mouse. And I was like, oh, this is not for me. I want to see like the fruits of my labour, and I want them fast, you know.
Yeah.
And I looked up, and I ended up buying a laser off a guy. He was a disabled guy down in London, and I got someone on Pinball. I can't even remember who I got. It's embarrassing. I got somebody on Pinball to go around, pick it up and ship it to me, because he was collection only. And this guy had spent like, I think it's 2,500, 3,000 quid on this laser machine. And I won it, and I think I rang him up and I offered him something like 1,500 quid for it. He had it on eBay. And I got his number off eBay. And I rang him, and I texted him. I says, I'll give you 1,500 quid for it. And he went, no, I'll get more than that. And I actually won it for about 1,000. But, you know, regardless, it was a nice bloke. And I got it, and what an absolute nightmare. It took me months to get my head around it. And I've always been decent with card drawing. But as soon as I got my head around it, I made my own set of protectors for me Guardians of the Galaxy.
So just to be clear on that, CAD is the software that you would
It's just a computer-aided design package, yeah.
So just what we're talking about here, if you look behind me there.
Yeah, I think I've done that for you, didn't I?
Pinball sign, Bally, Williams, and my channel Hammers chat there. Cole did all those signs. So the CAD is basically, I supplied you, for instance, with a picture for that. CAD is the software that then creates it into a file where a laser can cut it out of the perspex, right?
Yeah, that's it. So, and a lot of times, lads like Andrew Vinto, man, you'll see in the forums, he does quite a bit over pin side. He uses a lot of acrylics. I've got 50 to cut out for him. So he'll send me a little drawing already done. I've just got to load it up into my program, into my laser, cut them out, simple. But then I start to do some of my own stuff. And it's amazing how many people come to us. It's like your Deadpool. Cole, can you do this? I've seen a picture of this. Can you do something like this? And what does this look like, Chris? Yeah, that looks good. I'll send you them off. If they're no good, just let us know. You know, a lot of times I'll do stuff for people on the fly, and I'll just say, if it's no good, chuck it in the bin. If it's any good, give us a couple of quid. You know, I'm not really the best of businessmen, to be honest.
Yeah. I would say you're not. No.
Yeah. So I've given a lot away. I've done a lot of stuff that's come to nothing. But I enjoy doing it. I'm retired. I retired when I was 40. You know, I was in a good place. I was lucky in life. And this, for me, is not a job. It's absolute pleasure. And it's actually offsetting the cost of me pinballs. It's like, it's not making us money by any stretch of the imagination. It's not making me a wage at all. It covers me costs and actually goes towards me pinballs. And that's what it is. It's for me toys. So everything I do comes back at me, rewards me with more pinball stuff. And I've done some stuff where lately, Scotty, I've done some stuff for his Mando. And he said, can you do this? And he'll send these little drawings on fag packets. Can you do something like this? And I'll go, I'll have a go. And I'll have a go, and I'll go, whoa, Scotty, have a look at this, man. It's awesome. And the pictures don't give it justice sometimes, some of the stuff that come out. So they're not always by me. A lot of the time, the community has done this, you know. It's where lads on the community have said, I need a ramp protector for this. What does it look like? They cut a piece of card off and send us a card. And I've gone back and forward 3 or 4 times, and I go, Carl, that's spot on.
Well, you did that with me droplets of blood for Elvira.
Yeah.
Which looks sensational, and it glows in the dark. I mean, I will upload.
Yeah.
If I could.
The photos don't give justice, do they? Really, it's a hard one.
They don't. If I had enough length on the cable with a webcam, I'd actually show it now. It's actually glowing under there, and they are. If you don't know it, I'll show you. There's slingshot protectors and outlane protectors.
I don't know if this will actually work.
Can you show the Deadpool one?
I was just about to go and try. I don't know if it'll work.
Okay. So on the outlanes there, you can't really see it. Do you know what, Cole? I'll get pictures or send us a picture. You can't really see it on there. It actually, on mine, it says Deadpool in the Deadpool font. You found the Deadpool font, and it's one of the things people look at it. They look at the airbrush stuff. And they say, "Oh my goodness, where'd you get that from?" And everyone says that's not standard, is it? Because I took it to Pinfest, and it got really really good response.
I noticed a few. I noticed a few at Pinfest had me protectors on. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to play any of them, but I noticed a few of them had me protectors on. It's nice, it's like a nice little pat on the back. It's a nice little pat on the back to say, oh, I've done that.
Well, I think everyone will have them. I really do. I think eventually everybody will have your protectors, and particularly as you're obviously building a back catalogue of every game. So actually somebody says to you, have you got them for, I don't know, have you got them for turtles? You can say, yeah, I've got them. Do you want them plain or do you want them with the slime on? When I say the slime, you'll see
it's like the ooze,
and I think they're really good. And also, we all know what a pain in the arse it is when one of your plastics breaks. To actually try and get a replacement out astern, really, there should be 2 or 3 in the coin box. Let's be honest, you're paying 6, 7, 8, 10, 12,000 pounds for a machine. The plastics probably cost them next to nothing. There should be plenty of spares in there. Often there's not. This is what we had with Elvira. You think for all that money, and we had to be really, really careful because that was the only ones we were going to get, but you needed it to cut it out, and you said to me, "Well, etch it around a bit of cardboard and whatnot." So I would urge anybody. Where can we get your stuff from, Cole?
I don't advertise. You know what it is? I'm so busy at the moment. I don't even try. I put a little post on Pinfall now and again. Scotty put his mods on Pinside at the weekend that he has on his Star Wars, and I've had several people contact us through Pinside, which I've never had before. So I've sent those sets out. I've been busy this week. I've sent them off to see how long it takes to get to America. But stuff over America, it's like a license to print money. If I wanted to go in full time and do this, I could easily do it. Do I want to do it, Chris? I'd rather be sitting playing my games and enjoying my games and doing a bit of this and that. But if they want to get me, Pinfall's the place. Colywobbles is the name. If there's something I haven't done, I'm now on 100+ tables. I've done some real obscure stuff, like Keith at New Forest, he sent a set of Future Spa, but it's not 3 or 4 plastics. It's a full set for Future Spa and Flight 2000, and roller games and, some big sets. I've done stuff I haven't even put on Pinfall. So I'm covering all the main stuff. And one thing's for sure, I'll have all the Godzilla stuff straight away.
Yes.
Because I'll have that pin coming, I'll be working on them and seeing if there's anything. But, the community come forward and says, have you thought of doing this? I'll do it. I'll try it. I'll try anything you want to have a go on.
Well, this is what I'm just trying to think up with the airbrushing. Do we go for lizard scales, claws? Is it the fire that the blue flame? But how are you? There's any number of ideas that you might be able to do. So, and I know you're very creative, Cole, very, very creative, which I guess again makes it a labour of love rather than a job, because it allows you to sit there and use your fantastic machine, which is massive, by the way.
Oh,
machine,
you know what it is? I wish I could curry. Well, you've got to come and visit, Chris. Honest, seriously, jump on a train, get in Newcastle. I'll pick you up. You'll have a car to run around in if you need be, to visit anybody around the northeast, and stay here. I've got a spare bedroom. Come and see it. It's frightening when you see it in person because it's as big as a pinball. It's as big, literally as big as a pinball, and as expensive as it actually. Because I moved up at that cheap one, I kept a year. I kind of learnt me trade on it, and thought I need bigger. So it's 900 by 600 I can do. That's the size of something I can do, which I've been asked to do a few things that size. Well, I also bear in mind I don't just do pinball. I've been doing bits of stuff for family and friends. They'll say, "Can you do as a sign for the wall?" and "Can you do as this?" So I do other bits.
Well, as I say, wherever those signs there, fantastic. And that's not doing them justice. They're mirrored. If you can see that's mirrored, the ball on the stern there. You can literally see your face in it. They're beautiful, beautiful things, and you get the light sort of. I see you've gone for the blue light as well, Cole, tonight. They catch the light beautifully, and they really are. And I'm sure you are doing things that aren't. I remember you sending me a key ring actually, which was to commemorate, I think, 2020, and it had a toilet roll and a mask on it. I'm actually a ski instructor on a weekend, and every year at Christmas we do stuff for the kids. For the kids. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but it basically is for the kids. And I always try to pop a little present in for parents as well, and I've done them
one of those each. That's where the idea come from. I wanted to give all the parents something to remember because we had a shite year.
Yes,
And, at Christmas, the polar bears were starting to suffer. And I've done that. And I've got another one for this year, actually, but, I might send you one of them as well.
Yeah, well, send us one, and then when you say go, I'll reveal it on the podcast, certainly. Mate, listen, we'll get you on again as we talk to you about how you got into pinball and all those early machines, and I think that'd be great, mate. But thanks for joining us, mate. Really, great chat.
A pleasure. I wish I'd caught up better down Pinfest. It was one of them things. I was getting grabbed left, right, and centre. So many lads I wanted to meet, and I didn't have a chance. And they were saying, "I saw you call, but you were talking. I couldn't grab you." It was a bit like you, Chris. I wanted to have a big chat to you, just didn't get the chance.
No, it was nice. We had a 10-minute chat. It was nice to have a catch up. I loved your story about the hotel you were staying in, and the rave that seemed to be going on. That was good value, mate. Thank you so much for the invite to come up. I'm not going to be shy and say yes, thank you, and then not do it. I'd love to take you up on that offer. Love to, and actually I'll bring the camera up as well, and we'll show people in detail this wonderful collection you've got there.
And Nerg is awesome too. I mean, just getting the Nerg, it's an awesome show, literally is. Well, it's like a two weekend. A lot of the pinfall lot get there, they have the booze up in the hotel and all the rest of it. Pretty much like that.
I'd like that. Funny enough, I do actually have a cousin in Newcastle. My nan was a Geordie. My uncle Frankie used to run security at the Metro Centre.
Oh,
many years ago. And I remember I used to go up there. Where to go? Whitley Bay, somewhere like that. I remember summer holidays getting forced into some frozen North Sea and told, come on, man up, sort yourself out.
And all the girls walking around with the crop tops and no cut top. Yeah.
I remember my Uncle Frankie used to come and visit us down south. I remember it'd be November, and him and he would used to be sat outside, like on the patio in November, with his vest on and his trousers rolled up, kind of about how hot he was. There you go. So yeah, it would be lovely and very nostalgic and very welcome. Cole, thanks, mate. I'm gonna stay there though. I'm gonna kick you off now, but stay there because I'll say goodbye to you properly. Thanks very much indeed, mate.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Honest, great.
Cheers, mate. Colywobbles there on pinballinfo.com. That's the forum we all talk about. He's on there. He's a massive part of the community, massive character, friendliest guy you will ever meet. I swear to you. And honestly, when he says about setting up business, he honestly couldn't. I bet those poor people in America, I bet he's saying to them, don't worry, take the plastics, take the protectors, pay us when you want. It doesn't matter. He'll never be on The Apprentice, put it that way, but he is a lovely, lovely fella. We've got, just so as you know, we've got Neil. I'm recording a podcast with Neil tomorrow on the thread, on the forum, on the Chinwag thread. On page number 1, I've actually put a list of everybody that's agreed. They might be regretting it now, but everybody that's agreed to come on the podcast. So, I mean, it's quite a lengthy list. I want to get as many as possible. I don't want you to think I started with a flurry. I just wanted to get a lot out before Pinfest. Now we're back on it again. I want to get at least one out every single week, sometimes 2. We've got lots and lots of other stuff coming up. Right, it's only leaves me now just to say goodbye. Thank you. Please, if you're not on the forum, if you're on any other platform, any other websites, on Facebook, and it's the first time you've seen this podcast, you want to see some more, it'd be very much appreciated if you subscribe, and please do share. Thanks ever so much.